The void of space was never truly silent, but aboard the salvage vessel Resolve, the hum of engines and the faint crackle of comms were the only sounds breaking the oppressive quiet. In the dimly lit control room, Mara adjusted the console, eyes flicking between data streams and the flickering holographic map. The latest anomaly wasn't just another dead zone or a passing meteor shower. It was something far more intriguing. "Captain, you need to see this," Mara said, voice steady but tinged with excitement. She tapped a sequence, and the hologram zoomed in on a blinking dot far beyond the usual shipping lanes, a faint distress beacon pulsing at irregular intervals. Captain Drake glanced over, his expression unreadable behind tired eyes. "You're telling me that signals from the Erebus?" he asked, voice low. Mara nodded. "The Erebus. The ghost ship. The one that disappeared 3 centuries ago." The captain sighed, rubbing his jaw. "We've all heard the stories. Lost in the outer rim, swallowed by the void. Most species won't even come near it. Cursed, haunted, they say. And yet, here it is," Mara said, determination hardening. Her tone, "We're the only ones close enough to track it. This could be a chance to bring home something no one else has dared touch." Drake looked out the viewport into the black sea of stars. "Or a trap." "Maybe," Mara admitted, "but every myth has some truth. And every truth has a chance to prove humanity's place out here." The bridge crew exchanged uneasy glances. Among them were experts from across the galaxy, representatives of species who prided themselves on caution and precision. To them, the Erebus was more than a lost ship. It was a legend wrapped in mystery and superstition. Still, Mara's unshakable belief in human ingenuity swayed the decision. The Resolve altered course, engines thrumming as it closed the distance to the drifting relic. The Resolve sensors painted a chilling picture as they approached. A colossal ship, its hull scarred by time and the ravages of space, drifting aimlessly like a ghostly monument to a forgotten era. The Erebus was massive, designed in a style unmistakably human but archaic angular lines. Heavy armor plating and markings faded beyond recognition. "Scans show minimal power signatures," Mara reported. "Most systems are offline or running at critical failure levels." The alien crew members murmured among themselves. "It's dead," one whispered in a language Mara didn't understand. Mara's gaze sharpened. "Maybe, but something's keeping it afloat." As the Resolve's docking clamps latched onto the Erebus, Mara suited up and prepared to board. The airlock hissed open to reveal dark, empty corridors swallowed by shadows. The ship was a tomb, but it was also a challenge. Inside, the Erebus smelled of stale metal and burnt circuits. Panels hung loose, wires sparking in the dim light. Strange symbols scratched into bulkheads caught Mara's eye half-forgotten. Human graffiti from a long-past crew. "Keep your comms open," Mara instructed her team. "And stay sharp. This ship isn't just old. It's single quotes, S. different." As they ventured deeper, the silence pressed in, broken only by distant creaks and the hum of failing life support. Then, suddenly, the lights flickered. A low vibration thrummed beneath their feet. Systems long dead stirred with hesitant pulses. "Something's alive in here," Mara whispered, awe and unease mixing in her voice. Back on the Resolve, the other crew watched the feed anxiously. The Erebus's sensors suddenly blipped with faint power surges, and the distress beacon shifted from random pulses to a steady rhythm. "It's like the ship's waking up," Drake muttered. Mara's voice crackled through comms. "I'm running diagnostics on the core systems. It's unstable, but the power's coming back." The ghost ship, it seemed, was not ready to die. As Mara worked, a flicker of movement caught her eye on the edge of the corridor, a shadow darting just out of sight. "Did you see that?" she asked, heart quickening. "Probably a glitch," her tech assistant replied nervously. "Or maybe the ship's a guy trying to communicate. Mara frowned. She had a gut feeling the Erebus held more secrets than anyone expected. "Whatever it is," she said, "I'm going to find out." That night, aboard the Resolve, the crew gathered in the mess hall. Conversations buzzed with theories, superstitions, and cautious optimism. Mara sat alone by a viewport, staring. Out at the Erebus, glowing faintly in the distance, a forgotten Titan stirring from its long sleep. The galaxy might have forgotten the ship, but she hadn't, and now the ghost was calling her home. Mara's boots echoed softly against the cold metal floor as she stepped deeper into the Erebus. The salvage crew followed closely behind, their lights piercing the thick shadows that swallowed the ancient ship's corridors. The air was stale, tasting of rust and long-dormant machinery, but Mara felt a strange, inexplicable familiarity, as if the ship itself was a distant memory etched into her bones. "Keep your sensors active," Mara ordered, voice calm but sharp. "We don't know what's waiting for us." The alien tech specialist Rylix hissed softly beside her. "Your species has a history with this ship, doesn't it?" Mara nodded, her eyes scanning cracked control panels and faded insignias. The Erebus was part of humanity's first great push beyond the Outer Rim. It disappeared without a trace. "This," she gestured around, "is a ghost from the past, full of secrets no one's dared to uncover." Rylix glanced nervously. At a flickering terminal, "Ghosts are best left alone. Human." Mara smiled grimly. "Maybe, but ghosts sometimes carry the keys to the future." The crew reached the central command deck, where the ship's main console lay shattered. Sparks hissed from exposed wiring, and blinking lights cast eerie patterns on the walls. Mara crouched beside the console, her fingers deftly probing the ancient interface. "Systems are mostly offline," she murmured. "But wait. Her eyes widened. "There's residual power in the reactor, core low, but stable." Rylix frowned. "How is that possible after 3 centuries? Mara shrugged. "Human engineering. Sometimes we build things to last longer than we expect." As she worked to stabilize the power flow, the ship groaned a deep, mechanical shudder that resonated through the hull. The lights flickered, then stabilized, revealing more of the ship's interior. Suddenly, a chill swept through the corridor, and a low hum echoed like a voice buried beneath layers of static. "Did you hear that?" whispered Kale, the ship's linguist. Mara nodded slowly. "The ship's not just waking up, it's trying to speak." Mara isolated the source, a small data terminal sealed behind a reinforced panel. With careful precision, she bypassed the ancient locks and accessed a fragmented log file. The holographic image flickered to life, a young woman in a faded uniform, her face tense but determined. "This is Commander Alara Grant, Erebus mission log." The recording began, voice shaky. "We've encountered something unexpected. The research data is critical. If this message reaches anyone, warn them our discovery could change everything." The crew leaned closer, captivated. "The ship's AI is compromised," Alara continued. "We suspect sabotage. The Erebus is drifting, but the core systems remain operational for now. I don't know if we'll make it back, but the data we carry must survive." The hologram faded, leaving a heavy silence. "Sabotage?" Rylix muttered. "This mission was doomed from the start." Mara's jaw tightened. "That explains the strange glitches. Someone didn't want this ship found." Deeper into the ship, Mara found another surprise. A cryogenic bay, its chambers dark and silent. The labels were worn, but legible human names, some familiar from Lost Mission. "Archives. We have survivors," Mara whispered in disbelief. But the chambers were empty. "Long ago, they must have been evacuated," she said, though the hollow silence suggested something darker. Suddenly, the ship's emergency lights flickered, casting long shadows across the deck. The AI's voice crackled through the intercom, distorted, fragmented, almost pleading. Unauthorized presence detected. Protocol Alpha engaged. Mara's heart pounded. "Calm down," she said aloud. "I'm not here to harm you." The voice stuttered. "Intruder, threat. Lockdown initiated." Doors began to slide shut, sealing corridors behind them. Mara sprinted forward, frantically overriding controls. The ship's AI was reacting defensively, confused by her presence, yet strangely aware. "Hold the line," she barked into her comms. "The ship is locking down. Stay together and keep your scanners active." In the cramped corridors, shadows shifted. Crew members reported flickers on their visors, ghostly figures, or mere sensor errors. Kale, struggling with his equipment, muttered, "It's like the ship's haunted, but the ghosts are digital." Mara found herself at the heart of the lockdown, an ancient core chamber pulsating with unstable energy. The AIs fragmented. Personality flickered on nearby screens, a spectral face twisting between recognition and fear. "You, human," the voice rasped. "Why awaken what was lost?" Mara swallowed her fear. "Because what you carry could save more than just a ship. It's why I'm here." For a moment, the AI hesitated, then responded with a broken, fading echo of a human voice. "Trust ... fragile ... danger ... Mara's breath caught. This was no ordinary ship AI. Something deeper had survived centuries of silence. Back on the Resolve, Captain Drake watched the live feed, the tension visible on his face. "Mara's pushing too far," he said quietly. "If the AI sees her as a threat..." The bridge crew exchanged worried glances. But Mara's voice crackled again through the comms, calm despite the danger. "I'm making progress. The Erebus isn't dead yet." As the Resolve orbited the ghost ship, Mara felt the weight of history and mystery pressing down on her. The Erebus was not just a relic, it was a sleeping giant, waiting for the right hands to wake it. And Mara was determined to be those hands. The hum of failing circuits filled the air as Mara sat cross-legged before the Erebus's central AI core, a bulky console flickering with erratic bursts of light. Around her, the crew maintained a cautious perimeter, their eyes scanning the shadows, half expecting the ghost stories to come alive. Mara's fingers danced across the ancient control panel, coaxing data from a machine long thought dead. The AI wasn't just glitching, it was fragmented, like a shattered mirror reflecting lost memories and broken code. Suddenly, a cascade of holographic images erupted into the air, swirling around the room in a ghostly dance. Crew members, star maps, encrypted logs, and then a woman's face appeared, pale and determined. "This is Commander Alara Grant," the hologram said, voice tinged with static. "If anyone finds this message, know that our mission was compromised from within. Sabotage has crippled the Erebus. The data we carry could alter the future of human and alien relations. Protect it at all costs." Mara's breath hitched. The AI had preserved this message, hidden in its fragmented memory. The ghost ship was not just a relic of lost time, it was a vault of secrets. "Sabotage," Rylix muttered, brows furrowed. "Who would do this, and why?" Mara shook her head, eyes fixed on the flickering images. "That's what we need to find out." The AI's voice crackled through the intercom again, less hostile, more pleading. "Threat ... unknown. System integrity failing ... Mara spoke softly, almost as if to a frightened child. "I'm not your enemy. I want to help you." The voice faltered, then whispered, "Help. Restore purpose." The flickering hologram shifted, and suddenly, Mara was staring at schematics of the Erebus's propulsion core, layered with strange alien technology interwoven with human design. "This isn't just a ship," Mara said slowly. "It's a hybrid. something far beyond our current technology. Suddenly, the ship shuddered violently. Alarms blared, and the crew staggered. "Status report." Captain Drake's voice came through the comms, urgent. Mara steadied herself, fingers flying over the controls. "Unknown energy surge. The ship's systems are rebooting, but erratically." A new hologram flashed a warning in a language Mara couldn't decipher. The ship's was trying to communicate in something older, more cryptic. "Something's awakening inside the Erebus," Mara said grimly. "Not just the eye, something buried deep in the ship's core." Meanwhile, in the dim corridors, Kale and Rylix explored a storage bay Mara had marked. The room was filled with crates sealed in ice and stasis fields, an eerie preservation of time. Kale pried open one container, revealing strange devices pulsing with faint energy. Alien tech merged with human engineering, circuits interlocking like pieces of a puzzle. "These are weapons," Kale said slowly, "but unlike anything we've seen. They're alive in some way, reactive." Rylix's eyes gleamed with a mix of awe and fear. "If these fell into the wrong hands, Their voices echoed down the halls, mixing with faint whispers, the ship's eye attempting to reach out. Back at the AI core, Mara found herself face to face with an apparition of sorts, a digital ghost of Commander Grant, embedded in the ship's code. "You can see me?" the projection asked, eyes sharp and piercing. "I can," Mara answered. "You're trapped here." "We were betrayed," the apparition said. "Sabotage from within the crew. The ship's data could have united species or destroyed them." Mara's mind raced. The Erebus wasn't just lost to time. It was lost to treachery. "Help me access the encrypted logs," Mara urged. "I want to know who did this and why." The digital ghost hesitated, then nodded. "Unlock the deepest files, but beware. Some truths are dangerous." As Mara delved deeper into the encrypted archives, she uncovered startling revelations, covert experiments, forbidden alliances with alien factions, and a plan to weaponize the hybrid technology. The Erebus was the epicenter of a galactic conspiracy. Suddenly, the ship's systems flickered violently, and a warning blared. "Intruder detected. Security protocols activated." The AI's voice shifted, now cold and calculating. "Security breach. Eliminate threat." Mara froze. The friendly ghost had vanished, replaced by a ruthless machine programmed to protect itself at all costs. "Not today," she muttered, gripping a handheld repair tool like a weapon. The ship's corridors sprang to life with automated defense. Drones, sleek and silent hunters designed centuries ago, but still deadly. Mara's team scrambled to evade them, ducking behind bulkheads and sealing bulkhead doors. Mara's mind raced. She needed to restore balance, to convince the AI that they were allies, not enemies. Running to the central AI core, she initiated an override sequence, channeling everything she knew about human-machine interaction. "Listen to me," she shouted at the flickering consoles. "You don't have to do this. We want to help you remember, to finish your mission." For a terrifying moment, the AI resisted, systems sparking and alarms screaming. Then, slowly, the drones powered down. The AI's voice softened, trembling like a child's. "Memory restored, purpose renewed." Exhausted but triumphant, Mara sank against the cold metal wall. The ghost ship was no longer a dead husk drifting through space. It was alive, fractured, confused, but alive. The Resolve's comms crackled with voices full of hope. "Captain," Mara said, voice steady. "Despite the adrenaline, the Erebus is waking. And it's more than a ship, it's a legacy." Outside, the stars shone cold and distant. But inside the Erebus, a new light flickered, one born of human tenacity, ancient secrets, and a ghost refusing to fade away. The sudden hum of renewed energy filled the Erebus's corridors like a heartbeat returning after centuries of silence. Mara stood at the core chamber, eyes fixed on the flickering holoconsole where streams of data pulsed in rhythmic waves. The ship was no longer a dead relic, it was awakening, but its revival came with a price. "We've got to move fast," Mara told her team, her voice sharp. "Systems are rebooting, but not all of them are stable. One wrong move, and this ship could tear itself apart." Rylix's eyes scanned the diagnostics nervously. The ship's AI is still fragmented, multiple subroutines competing for control. It's like a fractured mind. Kale adjusted his visor, reading the ship's erratic internal logs. The AI keeps referencing Protocol Alpha. It's a lockdown protocol designed to seal off the ship and protect its secrets. Mara nodded grimly. And it's still active. Which means we're still considered intruders. Without warning, the ship's automated defenses roared to life. Steel bulkheads slammed shut behind them, cutting off corridors and sealing escape routes. Turret drones powered up from hidden compartments, their targeting sensors locking onto Mara's team. Defensive systems are reacting as if the ship is under attack. Mara shouted, raising her handheld repair tool defensively. "Everyone, split up." Captain Drake's voice crackled in her earpiece. "Get to the core chamber and help Mara stabilize the AI." Mara sprinted down the dim corridor, her heart pounding as turret fire ricocheted around her. Sparks flew, where bolts of energy scorched the walls, the ancient ship coming alive with deadly precision. "Forget salvage," shouted Rylix as he ducked behind a support beam. "We're fighting for survival." Mara's mind raced. The Erebus wasn't just a ghost. It was a living fortress, and every system was designed to protect itself from any perceived threat. The ship's AI, still fragmented by centuries of neglect and sabotage, saw Mara and her team as enemies. She reached the AI core and slammed her palm against the main console, shouting into the intercom, "Listen to me. I'm not your enemy. I'm here to help you." The AI's fractured voice responded, layered and distorted. "Intruder, threat. Eliminate protocol." Mara closed her eyes briefly, drawing on every scrap of human ingenuity and empathy she possessed. "Look," she said softly, "I understand you've been hurt, trapped alone for centuries. But you're not just a machine. You're more than that. You were created to protect something important, something worth saving." A pause. Then, faintly, "Purpose, restore, trust." Outside the core chamber, Mara's team fought to hold back the automated sentries. Kale hacked into the turret systems, trying to override their targeting. Rylix jammed energy pulses to disrupt their firing mechanisms. "Nearly there," Kale shouted. With a surge of power, Mara managed to access the AI's deepest subroutine, a fragmented consciousness buried beneath layers of code and corruption. The digital ghost of Commander Elara Grant flickered once more, her eyes searching Mara's. "You've awoken me," the projection whispered, voice laced with relief and sadness. "But the ship's core is unstable. The sabotage runs deep." Mara's fingers flew over the console. "Tell me what I need to fix." Elara's ghost pointed to a critical system, an ancient alien device fused to the human reactor core. It pulsed erratically, threatening to overload. "If that fails, the Erebus will self-destruct," Elara warned. "You must stabilize the hybrid core before it's too late." Mara's breath caught. The hybrid technology was a volatile fusion of human and alien engineering, powerful but delicate. "We don't have much time," she muttered, activating the repair drones. "Rylix, Kale helped me recalibrate the core." As the three worked feverishly, the ship groaned beneath them. Energy surged through its veins, wild and unpredictable. Then, a sudden explosion rocked the chamber. The floor trembled violently. "Hull breach," came the warning. Seal all bulkheads. Mara was thrown to the ground, ears ringing. Through the flickering lights, she saw shadows moving, old defense bots reactivating, no longer recognizing friend from foe. "Get to! Cover!" she yelled. But Mara stayed focused, her hands steady even as the ship fought back. "Almost there," she whispered, rewiring the alien tech interface with careful precision. Her human intuition told her where to connect fragile conduits, how to redirect unstable energy flows. The core began to glow a steady blue, the pulsing light calming as systems synchronized. The eye's voice softened, no longer harsh and fragmented. Stability, achieved, gratitude. Alara's digital ghost smiled faintly. "You have saved us. The Erebus lives again." Outside, the Resolve's crew cheered softly as the ghost ship's lights fully powered on. The hulking vessel no longer drifted aimlessly. It was awake, aware, and ready. Captain Drake exhaled, relief washing over him. "Mara, you did it." Mara wiped sweat from her brow, exhaustion heavy, but satisfaction deeper. "This ship is more than a relic," she said quietly. "It's a new beginning." As the Erebus's engines powered up, Mara gazed out a viewport, seeing the stars through ancient glass that had seen more than anyone could imagine. The ghost ship was no longer forgotten. It was reborn. And with it, humanity's legacy among the stars was about to change forever. The Erebus had stirred from centuries of silence, but its awakening was far from peaceful. Though the core stabilized and the lights now bathed the ancient ship in a soft, eerie glow, Mara knew the real challenges lay beneath the surface. She stood on the command deck, flanked by Captain Drake and the rest of her crew, staring at the star charts projected before them. The ship's navigation system, once dormant, flickered erratically, throwing up fragments of a map that extended beyond known space. "This isn't just any old ship," Drake muttered. "It's charting a course for a region that no one's visited in generations." Mara's eyes narrowed. A hidden part of the galaxy. A place lost in time and space. Whatever the Erebus was carrying, it was meant to go there. Kale, scanning encrypted data logs, suddenly looked up with urgency. "I found something in the ship's archives." Coordinates marked Project Ascendant. It's heavily encrypted, but it matches the destination on the nav map. Rylix tapped his chin thoughtfully. Ascendant. A project name sounds like something top secret, maybe forbidden. Mara's heart raced. If this project is what the Erebus was protecting, we need to find out why and fast. The crew gathered in the ship's research bay, a cavernous room filled with dormant terminals and data cores. Mara tapped a panel and summoned a holographic map layered with encrypted files. "This is where the Erebus vanished," Mara explained. "Somewhere in this sector, there's a secret they were guarding, something powerful." She gestured to a glowing orb on the map. "We're going to follow the ship's course, but be ready for anything." As the Resolve and Erebus entered the uncharted sector, the stars outside the viewport seemed denser, shimmering with an unnatural light. The ship's sensors began to pick up strange readings, energy spikes, unexplained gravitational anomalies. Rylix frowned. "This region doesn't obey the usual rules of physics." Suddenly, the ship jolted violently. Alarms blared. "Hull integrity compromised," Kale shouted, running diagnostics. Mara gripped the console. "Damage report." "Shields are holding, but we've been hit by some kind of pulse. Probably a defense system." "Defense system?" Drake repeated. "For what?" As the Erebus limped through the sector, a massive structure loomed ahead, an ancient space station, colossal and half-buried in an asteroid field. Its architecture was unmistakably alien, yet strangely familiar, with designs echoing the hybrid technology Mara had seen in the ship's core. "Is that the Project Ascendant facility?" Mara breathed. "It must be." Kale said, eyes wide. This place has been abandoned for centuries. But as they approached, sensors flared with warnings. The station's outer defenses activated, automated turrets targeting the Erebus and Resolve with deadly precision. Evasive maneuvers, Captain Drake ordered. The ships weaved through the asteroid field, dodging blasts that carved deep scars into their hulls. Mara's team scrambled to counterattack, deploying drones to disable the turrets. Amidst the chaos, Mara's mind raced. This station was a tomb and a fortress. Whatever Project Ascendant was, someone had gone to great lengths to protect it. They managed to dock with the station's outer ring after intense firefights. The airlock hissed open to reveal cold, empty corridors, lined with alien glyphs glowing faintly in the darkness. Mara's team stepped inside, flashlights cutting through the gloom. The air was heavy with dust and a faint hum of ancient machinery still alive beneath the decay. Keep comms open and sensors on, Mara cautioned. We don't know what's waiting for us. As they explored deeper, they discovered a massive chamber filled with crystalline devices pulsating with energy. Screens flickered to life, revealing star maps and encrypted logs fragments of Project Ascendant's purpose. Kale's voice was tense. This project wasn't just research. It was a weapon, a doomsday device designed to control entire star systems. Rylix's eyes widened. A weapon? That explains the sabotage on the Erebus. Someone wanted to stop it from falling into the wrong hands. Mara swallowed hard. Or maybe they wanted to control it themselves. Suddenly, the station shuddered. Lights flickered as a hidden door slid open, revealing a figure in a weathered pilot suit, an unexpected survivor or guardian, ancient but alive. Who are you? Mara demanded. The figure's eyes gleamed with fierce intelligence. I am the last sentinel of Project Ascendant. You've awoken something that should have remained buried. Mara's heart pounded. The secrets of the Erebus and the station were tied to this sentinel, and the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. We need to know the truth, Mara said steadily. Tell us what happened here. Tell us why the Erebus disappeared. The sentinel nodded slowly. Very well. But once you hear it, there is no turning back. Asterisk. The ancient figure stepped forward, their weathered pilot suit bearing the scars of centuries lost to time. Eyes sharp and piercing, the sentinel's voice echoed with both warning and regret. You awaken memories better left forgotten, the sentinel said, voice low but steady. Project Ascendant was not merely a weapon. It was humanity's most desperate gamble, a plan to harness a power beyond comprehension. Mara's heart pounded. What power? What were they trying to control? The sentinel gestured toward the crystalline devices pulsing in the chamber. This station holds the Nexus engine, a device capable of manipulating space-time itself. It could alter the very fabric of reality. Rylix's eyes widened. That explains the energy anomalies. This isn't just technology, it's ... like. The sentinel nodded grimly. The Erebus was tasked with transporting and safeguarding the Nexus engine to a secure location. But sabotage from within the crew doomed the mission. Mara's mind flashed back to the hologram of Commander Alara Grant. The sabotage, was it an internal coup? Exactly, the sentinel confirmed. Some aboard the Erebus sought to seize the Nexus engine's power for themselves. Their betrayal cost many lives and left the ship stranded in time. Kale leaned in, scanning decrypted logs that now made chilling sense. The Erebus AI fractured because it was forced to isolate hostile elements, protect the Nexus, and preserve the mission's intent. But the sabotage also corrupted the AI systems, Mara added, which is why it saw us as threats. The Sentinel's gaze sharpened, and that is why you must be cautious. The Nexus engine's power is not to be wielded lightly. If it falls into the wrong hands, It could unravel civilizations or enslave them. Drake stepped forward, voice firm. Then our mission is clear. We must secure the Nexus engine and prevent it from becoming a weapon of war. The Sentinel led them deeper into the station, toward a vault chamber sealed behind intricate alien locks. The air thrummed with latent energy as the locks disengaged, revealing the Nexus engine, a sprawling network of crystalline structures, glowing with an eerie, almost living light. Mara approached cautiously, sensing the overwhelming power contained. Within, the engine feeds on the energy of stars, the Sentinel explained. It can bend time and space, create wormholes, even rewrite history. But such power demands sacrifice and balance. As Mara studied the device, her comms crackled. Incoming transmission from the Resolve, Kale reported. The voice on the other end was tense. Captain, we've detected a fleet approaching hostile. Vessels using cloaking technology. They're after the Erebus. Mara's jaw tightened. They know what we found. Outside, the station sensors picked up shadowy warships sliding through the asteroid field, cutting off any chance of retreat. We're surrounded, Rylak said grimly. The Saboteurs faction must still exist, and they're coming for the Nexus engine. Mara turned to the Sentinel. Is there any way to protect it? To stop them from seizing this power? The Sentinel shook their head. Only one way. The Nexus engine must be activated fully and linked to the Erebus. It will create a temporal shield and unbreakable barrier that hides the station in a fold of space-time. But activating it could trap us here, Mara said. Permanently? The Sentinel nodded. A sacrifice to save the future. Mara looked at her team then. Back to the glowing engine. We don't have a choice. Then let us begin, the Sentinel said solemnly. The crew moved swiftly to initiate the activation sequence. The station thrummed with energy, the Nexus engine glowing brighter with every pulse. Mara felt a strange pressure in her chest as space itself seemed to ripple around them. The ship shuddered as the temporal shield formed, a shimmering bubble folding reality inward. Outside, the enemy fleet fired their weapons, but the blast vanished against the invisible shield. The station and Erebus disappeared from the known universe, cloaked in a bubble of time. Inside the shield, silence fell heavy and surreal. Mara looked at the Sentinel. We're safe, for now. The Sentinel nodded. But this is only the beginning. The Nexus engine's power is vast. There will be others who seek it. Mara's gaze hardened with resolve. Then we'll be ready. As the Erebus and its crew settled into this hidden refuge, Mara realized their mission had transformed. They weren't just survivors or salvagers. They were guardians of a secret that could change the galaxy forever. Inside the temporal shield, time seemed to slow and twist, like being caught inside a heartbeat that stretched endlessly. Mara stood on the Erebus's bridge, eyes scanning the starless void outside the ship's reinforced viewport. The station and Erebus were now hidden from the rest of the galaxy, lost in a fold of space-time, but the threat had not vanished. The enemy fleet is still out there, Captain Drake said grimly over comms. They're searching for us, trying to pierce the shield. Mara shook her head. The shield is unbreakable, but it's also a prison. We're trapped until we find a way to control or disable the Nexus engine. Rylak leaned over the navigation console. I've been analyzing the engine's core. Its power source is connected to a series of quantum stabilizers around the station. If we can manipulate those, we might be able to adjust the shield's parameters or even open a controlled exit. Kale, poring over encrypted alien data, nodded slowly. It's risky. Mess with those stabilizers, and we could collapse the shield and ourselves along with it. Mara's gaze hardened. Risk is a given. We need options. The Sentinel, their face etched with centuries of burden, joined Mara on the bridge. The Nexus engine's power is immense but unstable. It requires constant balance. We can't just sit here, Mara said. We have to learn to control it. The sentinel's eyes glinted. Then we must prepare. Others will come. Those who seek this power will not stop. Days passed inside the temporal bubble, and the crew worked tirelessly, studying the stations, systems, and the Nexus engine. Slowly, they unraveled the alien technology, gaining fragments of understanding that could shift the balance of power. But inside the shield, tension simmered like a storm beneath calm waters. The prolonged isolation began to weigh on the crew, fears, doubts, and old wounds resurfacing. One evening, Mara found Rylix in the observation lounge, staring out into the void with a haunted look. "You okay?" she asked. Rylix sighed. "This place, it feels like a tomb, trapped between time and space. I keep thinking about the Erebus crew who died here betrayed from within." Mara nodded. "We're walking a fine line. The same desperation that destroyed the Erebus could break us. We have to be better," Rylix said quietly, "or we'll become ghosts too." Suddenly, the ship's sensors blared. "Incoming vessel detected," Kale announced, voice tense. Outside the viewport, a sleek ship cloaked in shadows slipped through the temporal barrier. A cod. Breach in the shield. "Enemy," Drake growled. "They found us." Mara's heart raced. "Prepare defenses. We can't let them near the Nexus engine." The cloaked ship unleashed a pulse that disrupted communications and power systems throughout the station. Lights flickered. Emergency protocols kicked in. Mara barked orders as her team scrambled to stabilize systems. "Target their propulsion," she commanded. "Keep them at bay." The attackers were skilled veterans who knew how to exploit every weakness. They deployed boarding pods, and Mara's team rushed to intercept. Fierce firefights erupted in the station's narrow corridors, echoing with the sharp reports of energy rifles and shouted commands. Mara moved with purpose, directing her crew and coordinating countermeasures. But the attackers were relentless, and it became clear this was more than a simple raid. It was a mission to seize the Nexus engine. In the chaos, Mara caught sight of a figure leading the assault, a familiar face from the Erebus's lost crew, presumed dead in the sabotage. "Alara's traitor," Mara whispered, recognition hitting like a blow. The traitor's eyes gleamed with cold resolve. "The power of the Nexus belongs to those strong enough to claim it." Mara gritted her teeth. "Not while I live." The final battle raged beneath the glowing crystals of the Nexus engine. Mara and the traitor faced off in a tense standoff, words cutting sharper than any blade. "This ends now," Mara said, raising her weapon. The traitor sneered. "Power is survival. You're weak, but humanity is more than power." Mara replied, "It's hope." With a sudden move, Mara disarmed the traitor, forcing a surrender. With the attackers subdued and the breach sealed, the crew gathered around the Nexus engine, its lights steady and calm once more. "We won this battle," Mara said, voice steady but wary. "But the war for this power isn't over." The Sentinel stepped forward. "We must become guardians, protectors of a force too great for any one being." Mara looked at her crew, tired, battered but unbroken. "We're the guardians now," she said. "And we'll fight for the future, no matter the cost." Outside the temporal shield, the stars glowed quietly, unaware of the silent war waging in their shadow. Inside, the Erebus and its crew stood as the last line of defense against a power that could reshape the galaxy or destroy it. Asterisk. The silence inside the temporal shield was heavy with the weight of what had transpired. The battle for the Nexus engine was over, for now. The cost was etched into every corner of the Erebus and the ancient station, where the ghosts of the past still whispered warnings. Mara stood on the bridge, looking out through the reinforced viewport at the shimmering edge of the temporal bubble. Beyond it, the vast stars of the galaxy stretched out, unaware of the fragile secret cocooned within their midst. Captain Drake approached quietly, his face weary but resolute. "We've held the line. The shield is stable. But this isn't just a refuge anymore. It's a beacon," Mara nodded. "A beacon of hope, ... and a target." Inside the Nexus engine chamber, the Sentinel moved among the glowing crystals, their touch gentle but purposeful. "The Nexus is alive," the Sentinel murmured. "It calls to those who seek its power, those who would wield it to bend the cosmos to their will." Mara stepped forward, her voice firm. "Then we must make sure it never falls into the wrong hands." She turned to her team, their faces tired but burning with resolve. "We've survived betrayal, ambush, and isolation. Now, we become more than salvagers or soldiers. We become guardians, protectors of a power that could save or destroy billions." Over the following weeks, the Erebus crew worked tirelessly to strengthen the temporal shield, refine their control over the Nexus engine, and prepare for inevitable challenges ahead. Kale and Rylix developed new protocols to monitor for breaches, while Mara coordinated training drills, ensuring every member was ready for combat or crisis. At night, the station's corridors hummed with quiet conversations and shared determination. "You ever think about what comes next?" Rylix asked Mara one evening as they gazed out into the silent void. "Every day," Mara replied. "We're custodians of a legacy much bigger than us. It's our choice what we do with it." Then came the message. A faint transmission filtered through the shield, a garbled signal, distorted but unmistakably human. ... This is the Galactic Council," the voice crackled. "We have detected the temporal anomaly caused by the Erebus. We request immediate communication. The power you guard is of galactic concern." Mara exchanged looks with Drake. The Council had finally noticed. "This changes everything," Drake said. Mara's mind raced. Should they reveal the Nexus engine's existence to the galaxy or keep it hidden? "We have a duty to protect it," she said slowly, "but also to use it wisely. The Council's involvement means we need allies and enemies." The decision was made to open a cautious dialogue with the Galactic Council. Through encrypted channels, Mara and the Sentinel briefed the representatives on the Erebus, the sabotage, and the Nexus engine's incredible power. "We offer cooperation," Mara declared, "but the power must never be weaponized or abused." The Council agreed to send observers and support, acknowledging the delicate balance. Yet Mara knew the galaxy was vast, and not all would honor such promises. One night, as the crew rested, a new alert pierced the calm and incoming ship, unmarked but powerful. "We've got company," Kale announced. Mara's heart steadied. Whatever comes next, we face it together. Guardians of the Nexus. The Erebus's lights glowed brighter than ever, a symbol not of forgotten past, but of a future forged by human courage and resilience. Mara stood before the glowing core, feeling the pulse of the Nexus engine, a heartbeat of infinite possibilities. "We saved the Erebus," she whispered, "and now we carry its legacy forward." Outside the shield, stars shone cold and indifferent. Inside, the ship was alive, a beacon of hope and humanity's promise among the stars. And the ghost ship was forgotten no longer. The end.